Hey, this is Zeklog the Great. If names be not correct, language is not in accordance with the truth of things. If language be not in accordance with the truth of things, affairs cannot be carried on to success. When affairs cannot be carried on to success, proprieties and music do not flourish. When proprieties and music do not flourish, punishments will not be properly awarded. When punishments are not properly awarded, the people do not know how to move hand or foot. Therefore, a superior man considers it necessary that the names he uses may be spoken appropriately, and also that what he speaks may be carried out appropriately. From the Analects of Confucius. There is no such thing as a white supremacist in America today. Or if they exist, you could count them on two hands. Words are not merely arbitrary labels to be thrown around as convenient. As Confucius said, talking that sloppily can have serious consequences. If supremacy means anything, it must mean a desire to rule over others. Now, I wouldn't claim to be an expert on the subject, but I am somewhat familiar with a number of groups and individuals commonly labeled as white supremacists. I can't think of a single one that wants to rule over other peoples. Frankly, the great majority of them are of the opinion that our country is far too involved in world affairs and we'd be better off minding our own business here in America. What do these so-called white supremacists want for white people? Mostly to be left alone, not to be constantly blamed for everything that goes wrong for non-whites, and not to be forced by the government to subsidize their poor choices. Supremacy should be made of sterner stuff. So, what would be a more accurate label for these people? White, please leave us aloneists? That's not very intimidating, is it? I guess if you wanted a scary word, you could say they're white separatists, but that's still not terribly frightening. I think I've seen supremacy defined as the belief that one group or race is superior to others. There's another word for this, a less rhetorically charged word, and that is ethnocentrism. This term applies not just to races, but to nations, to professions, even to fans of sports teams. Literally everyone is ethnocentric. Everyone. A Frenchman could give you a dozen reasons why France is better than Germany. A college professor most likely looks down on car mechanics who hold the professors in disdain in return. And everyone knows this, and no one is particularly bothered by it, with one exception. If a white person happens to think that white people are pretty cool and prefers the company of other white people, well, that is a horrible crime. That person must be mocked and disemployed and driven out of polite society. Possibly even beaten bloody. That one group preference, that one loyalty, must not be allowed. Black people generally prefer the company of other black people. They watch TV shows and movies starring black people, and no one bothers them about this or demands the inclusion of more white people. And many black people think they're smarter and more interesting than white people, going so far as to spin out bizarre, evidence-free theories about what a paradise Africa was before white people got there, and how black people invented everything. They was kangs, you know? And no one condemns their black in-group preference, their black ethnocentrism. But if a white person points out the factual record that in the past 500 years, technological progress has been driven almost exclusively by white European males, well, that person must be viciously attacked and silenced. I don't think I'm asking for much here. I'm not asking for a radical upending of society. All I want is two things: speech that accurately reflects the real world, and consistency. One rule for all. Either there are no white supremacists, or literally everybody on the planet is a supremacist of one form or another. Either it is not okay for literally everybody else to prefer and promote their own kind, or it is just fine for white people to do so. God be with you.